Welcome Algebra 1 students to another Regents review video. This is the Algebra 1 Common Core August 2016 Regents examination. These are going to be the solutions for Part 1, questions 13 through 24, which is the second half of the multiple choice of this examination. Before we begin here, please, if you are here to copy my answers, refrain from doing so. You need to try the problems or else you're not going to do so hot on this exam. And I want you to do well. So make sure that you try the problems first, see what you know, and then if you need help, then come back to me. Hit that subscribe button down below and make sure that you visit my website at www.nysmathreadingsprep.com for more math content in Algebra 1 and many more math subjects to come, so stay tuned. And I use the TI Inspired Calculator for the Algebra 1 examination. It's quite a powerful tool, and if you want to buy it, go on my website. There's a link to Amazon. I don't make any money off of it, but it is quite an awesome calculator. All right, without further ado, let's begin. Question number 13. The height of a rocket at selected times is shown in the table below. Okay, based on these data, which statement is not a valid conclusion? Keyword there, not valid. So if we look here, it says, choice 1, the rocket was launched from a height of 180 feet. All right, well, at launch, it was at 180 feet. Yeah, that's true. So that is not the answer because we're looking for the statement that's not true. This person might be maybe on a 180-foot cliff. We're not so sure. Choice 2, the maximum height of the rocket occurred 3 seconds after launch. Okay, so 3 seconds after launch, its height was at 324 feet. Yeah, that's the highest point on this graph. Or, sorry, not graph, this table, because that is definitely the highest value. So that's true. Choice 3, the rocket was in the air approximately 6 seconds before hitting the ground. Okay, well, at 6 seconds, it's at 180 feet, which matches this original point. But then, if you look at the 7th second, it's going down to 68 feet. So a picture that might look like this, here is a, I don't know, here's a cliff, and here's a little guy launching the rocket. I don't know, let's draw a little rocket here. Boop, boop. Okay, so there's my rocket. As you can see, I'm not in orders. And it's going up, and this is at 180 feet, and it's going down, and this right here is 180 feet, but it keeps on going down. So he might actually be on a cliff. So your answer is going to be choice 3. The rocket was in the air approximately 6 seconds before hitting the ground. No, because this table is suggesting that the rocket is still in flight at the 7th second because it traveled down to 68 feet. Choice 4 is saying the rocket was above 300 feet for approximately 2 seconds. Yeah, from the 2nd second to the 4th second, it was definitely above 300 feet. So that's why it is going to be choice 3. That was definitely a tricky question. 14. A parking garage charges a base rate of $3.50 for up to 2 hours and an hourly rate for each additional hour. So you could park at the parking garage for 2 hours, and then if you exceed that, then they start charging you more money. The sign below gives the prices for up to 5 hours of parking. Which linear equation can be used to find X, the additional hourly parking rate? So, from $3.50 to $9, that is an increase of $5.50. To go from $9 to $14.50, that is an additional $5.50. And then it's happening again. We're increasing by $5.50. So, we're looking for X is equal to $5.50. That's what we're looking for. X is equal to 5.50. Well, which equation shows that? Well, if I take choice 1, for example, and I subtract the 9 on both sides, you get 3x is equal to 11. Divide by 3 on both sides, that is not 5.5. 11 divided by 3 is 3.6, so that makes no sense. Choice 2 is saying $9 plus $3.50 X is equal to $20. Well, that's $3.50 X. No, I'm sorry, just 3.5 X is equal to 11. when you subtract the 9 over and then you divide by 3.5 on both sides, and that is 11 divided by 3.5. That's 3.14. That makes no sense either. We're trying to find 5.5. Choice 3. 2x plus 3.50 is equal to 14.5. Well, when you subtract the 3.5 on both sides, you get 2x equals 11. And then you just divide by 2 on both sides, and x is equal to 5.5. Yeah. So your answer is going to be choice 3. Because it's saying that it's increasing by 5.5 each time. So the answer is choice 3. Choice 4 makes no sense either. All right, moving on. 15. Which function has a constant rate of change equal to -3? So that's basically saying as x increases, y decreases. That's what's talking about with the slope. So as x increases, y should be decreasing. No, this is showing a positive slope. So choice 1 is not the answer. Choice 2, okay, we need to look at choice 2 on a graph. But, I mean, we could do that, or we could just, again, look at the y values. So 5 is going to 2, so that's definitely decrease. So as x increases, y should be decreasing. 5 to 2, well, that's decreasing. 2 to -5, that's decreasing. And then from -5 to 4, that's like decreasing, and then it's increasing. That doesn't make any sense. This is not constant. Choice 3. All right, let's take a look at this point right there. Go down 3, to the right 1. No. But if we, I mean, maybe we could try a different point, perhaps. Maybe we could try this point, down 3 to the, nope, that's not going to touch it. So choice 3 makes no sense. Let's take a look at choice 4. So if we divide by 2, by each number, we get y is equal to -3x plus 5. Yes, that has a slope of -3 because this is your m value for y is equal to mx plus b. So it does, in fact, fit that description that is talking about of a slope of -3. So your answer is going to be choice 4. All right, moving on. 16. Kendall bought X boxes of cookies to bring to a party. Each box contains 12 cookies. She decides to keep 2 boxes for herself, because who doesn't want chocolate chip cookies? She brings 60 cookies to the party. Which equation can be used to find the number of boxes X that Kendall bought? So what's happening here is she bought X boxes, so that's what we're trying to find, and she bought each box containing 12 cookies. So the total amount that she bought when she went to the supermarket, she bought X boxes, 12 cookies in each box. So that's going to be 12X for 12 cookies times the amount of boxes that she got. And she's subtracting 2 boxes for herself. Well, if there's 12 cookies in one box, there are 24 cookies in 2 boxes total. So that's just 12 plus 12, which is 24 cookies. And she brings 60 cookies to the party. So that's going to be equaling 60. This is used to determine how many boxes she bought in the first place. So the answer for this one is going to be choice 3. Okay? And that's about it. Number 17. The table below shows the temperature T of M of a cup of hot chocolate that is allowed to chill over several minutes M. Which expression best fits the data for T of M? So the best thing to do with this question is to graph your answers and see which one matches up with the table. So I'm going to use my graphing calculator, and I'm going to graph the first answer, which is 150 times 0.85 to the M. Okay. Well, really quick, before I graph it, it says chill over several minutes. So when it's chilling, the temperature's decreasing. So that means that if you have A of t is equal to p times 1 plus or minus a rate raised to the t power, this number in here has to be less than 1 because we're looking for a decay function. So we could get rid of choice 4, we could get rid of choice 2. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to plug in 1 and 3 and see which one works, because these numbers here are less than the number 1. So let's go ahead and plug that in. So we get 150 times 0.85 raised to the x power. And press enter. You can't see it because it's so high up on the graph, but just do Control T. And does it match up? Well, at 0, it's 150. Yeah. At 1 minute, no, actually, they don't tell us 1 minute. At 2 minutes, it's 108.37. At 4 minutes, it's 78. At 6 minutes, it's 56. Does that match this? Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Your answer is going to be choice 1. Ka-ching. Done. 18. As x increases beyond 25, which function has the largest x value? So this one, again, the best thing to do is to graph these functions. It's asking you really when x is greater than the number 25, which of the following has the greatest y value? That's basically what it's asking. Okay? So let's do that right now. I cannot write. Okay, so I'm going to graph 1.5 raised to the x. 1.5 raised to the x. Graph that function. Okay, I'm going to graph the second one. 1.5 x plus 3. Well, that's just a line, so that doesn't sound like it's going anywhere. 1.5 x squared. And we get 1.5 x to the third. Oop, my apologies. 1.5 x to the third. Plus 1.5 x squared. Okay, so we have these graphs, right? And it's saying to us, it's saying when we go beyond x is equal to 25, which of the following functions has the greatest y value? So if I actually go to my calculator and I do menu, Windows Zoom, Windows Settings, and I make the x minimum value 25, and I make the x max like 100, what it does is it shows me, oh, and I need to change the y values, my apologies. Windows Zoom, Windows Settings, because it's so darn high, I'm going to make the minimum value of y 0, and I'm going to make the maximum, let's try 1,000. I don't know how high this is going to go, but let's try 1,000. That's not even high enough. Let's make it 10,000. Okay, so clearly the only graph that's up here is the pink function. Your other functions, no, I'm sorry, not your pink function. Oh, we need to go even higher? Jeez. As x increases... Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. As I went up, the red value took over tremendously. Tremendously. It's increasing extremely, extremely rapidly. So that means that whatever your red function is, in this case is 1.5 raised to the x power, is your answer. And just to make sure that you verify this, press Control T and go down to x is equal to 25. And this red function is showing 25,251. This is showing 40.5, this is showing 937, then this is showing 24,375. So clearly, the red function, which is over 25,000, wins this battle. So that's going to be choice 1. All right, moving on to 19. What are the solutions to the equation 3x squared plus 10x is equal to 8? So your teacher may have taught this to you maybe a different way than I did it. But the way that this problem is solved, your teacher may have called this method the AC method. Your teacher might have called this the earmuff method. Or your teacher may have called it tricky trinomials. Any one of those that pop into your head and ring a bell, that's what I'm going to be using here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract the 8 on both sides. We get 3x squared plus 10x minus 8 equals 0. Now, according to the laws of algebra, this number right here has to be the number 1. So you could do a couple things. You could look for a GCF first to pull out a 3 maybe, and none of these numbers have a GCF of 3 except for 3 itself. So that can't work. So then immediately what should click into your head is the methods that I mentioned up there. You take your 3 and you multiply it to the negative 8. That's why they call it the earmuffs. It looks like earmuffs. So what we get is we get x squared plus 10x minus 24 equals 0, because 3 times negative 8 is negative 24. And remember, we put the 3 back here because we want this value in front to be 1. Now it's factorable. What adds to 10 and multiplies to give you negative 24? Well, that's just going to be x plus 4 no, I'm sorry, x plus 12, and we get x minus 2. Because 12 times negative 2 is negative 24, 12 plus a negative 2 is positive 10, and that equals 0. Now, this is the problem with this method. The 3 is still locked in here. We now need to pull that 3 back out of the equation and divide each binomial by the number 3. Okay? So we divide each binomial by 3. The 3's cancel up front, and we get x plus 12 over 3. Well, 12 over 3 is a nice clean number. It's 4. So we get x plus 4. Okay? Now, this one is a little bit of a problem. X minus 2/3. This is a fraction. You cannot leave this as x minus 2/3. Oh, no. You can't do that. What you need to do is you need to take the 3 and you move it up front, because that is the proper way of writing a binomial. So that's going to be 3x minus 2, and that is equal to 0. Now we could solve it. Do your t-bar. X equals negative 4. X is equal to positive 2/3. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your answer. Negative 4 and 2/3, which is going to be choice 1. 2/3 and negative 4. Now, let's just say you don't like any of those methods of doing this. You could use your TI Inspire to get the answers. Let me show you how you get it. If you go to your calculator and you click on Menu, then you click on Algebra, click on Polynomial Tools, and click on option 2, Real Roots of Polynomial. It comes up as polyroots with a parentheses. If you actually type in 3x squared plus 10x minus 8, which is what I had before, and you click on comma x, it tells you the roots, negative 4 and 2/3. That comma x is there just to tell the calculator, hey, I'm solving for x. And remember that you don't set this equal to 0 because the calculator already knows it's setting this equation equal to 0. And those are your roots, negative 4 and 2/3. That's just a nice way to check your solutions. Okay, moving on to 20. An online company lets you download songs for 99 cents each after you paid a $5 membership fee. Which domain would be most appropriate to calculate the cost of downloaded songs? To download songs. So this is tricky here. You need to know what you're graphing. The y-axis is the cost. The cost in money. Okay? Down below, this is the number of songs. That's your x-axis. Domain are your x values. So it says, which would be the most appropriate to say? Well, the number of songs, it's only positive whole numbers. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't download 3.5 of a song. You can't download 3 songs and then half a song. You just can't do it. Rational numbers greater than 0. Now, rational numbers could be decimals. That makes no sense. So no decimals. Choice 2, whole numbers greater than or equal to 1. Absolutely. Whole numbers, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, greater than or equal to 1. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's perfect. Integers less than or equal to 0. No, songs can't be negative, so no negatives. And choice 4, this is where some people might have gotten confused. Whole numbers less than or equal to the number 1. You might have saw whole numbers and you might have confused that, but it is less than, so no negatives. So I will tell you this. Choice 2 is a correct answer, but if you picked choice 1, which was actually the trick answer in this whole question, if you picked choice 1, you were thinking of money. They're not asking you for money. They're asking you for the number of songs. The cost is your y function. Because rational numbers greater than 0, yeah, because it's a decimal, so money can be decimals, like cents and quarters and nickels and dimes. Those are rational numbers, but it's asking you for the appropriate domain for the number of songs downloaded. Domain is the number of songs. All right, so that's going to be number 20 for choice 2 for number 20. Number 21, the function f of x equals 3x squared plus 12x plus 11 can be written in vertex form as what? The minute you see vertex form, you got to think to yourself, completing the square. There's no other way to convert this into the vertex form without completing the square. So In order to begin the process, this is 3x squared plus 12x plus 11 equals 0. We are going to divide by the number 3 because we need this number to be 1. Okay? So we get x squared plus 4x plus 11 thirds equals 0. Now, I'm going to subtract 11 thirds on both sides, and I get x squared plus 4x plus something. Actually, let me draw just a blank space. Plus something equals negative 11 thirds plus something. Now, in order to get what's in this spacing right here, you need to apply the formula b divided by 2 squared. That means take half of your linear term and you square it. So that is going to be 4 divided by 2, which is 2. 2 squared is 4. So 4 goes over here and over here. Now let's keep going. Now we factor this by figuring out what adds to positive 4 multiplies to give you positive 4. What's nice about completing the square is it's always the same number. So this is going to be x plus 2 equals, that is going to be 1/3. Now this becomes x plus 2 quantity squared equals 1/3, and then you just subtract the 1/3 on both sides. Now we get f of x is equal to x plus 2 quantity squared minus 1/3. Now if you go back to your answer choices, 1/3 is not even considered in the answer choices. So what they decided to do is they decided to say, hey, we don't like 1/3, but we're going to do this. We're going to multiply this side by the number 3. This right here, this is the same thing as multiplying by 3 to get rid of that 1/3. This is the same thing as saying 3 times x plus 2 quantity squared minus 1. Because if you multiply that 3 on both, over here, the 3's and 3's cancel in the numerator and the denominator. You get negative 1, and the 3 is just included over here. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is your answer. 3 times x plus 2 squared minus 1. Your answer is going to be choice 3 for question number 21. All right, moving along. Number 22. A system of equations is given below. Which system of equations does not have the same solution? So what they're testing your knowledge here on is they're testing your knowledge whether or not you could dilate a line. That's it. So if we take choice 1, they have 3x plus 6y equals 15. Well, they decided to take this top function and multiply it by the number 3 and distribute. Well, does that equal 3x plus 6y equals 15? Yeah, 3x plus 6y equals 15. That's good. And the bottom function is the same thing. So that can't be the answer because this does work up top. Choice 2. This is saying 4x plus 8y equals 20. So it looks like that they're multiplying by a 4 up top. If you distribute that 4, you get 4x plus 8y equals 20. And the bottom function is the same. That is true. If you look at choice 3, x plus 2y equals 5, that didn't change. And the bottom function, 6x plus 3y equals 12, it looks like that they're multiplying by the number 3. That's 6x plus 3y equals 12. So that works as well. Choice 4 is the answer. Let's take a look and see why. X plus 2y equals 5, that does work. Perfect. But then you get 4x plus 2y equals 12. It appears to me that they're multiplying by the number 2. Okay? Multiply the bottom by 2. You distribute. This gives you 4x plus 2y is equal to 8. The problem, ladies and gentlemen, is that 8. It's 12 in the answer choice. It should be the number 8. So that's why it's going to be choice 4. All right. And that's how you do that question. All right, moving on to question 23. Almost done. Based on the graph below, which expression is a possible factorization of p of x? So what you need to know is you need to know the roots. That's here. The root of this is x equals negative 3. The root over here is x is equal to 2. And this root over here is x is equal to 4. So if the roots are x equals negative 3, x equals 2, and x equals 4, your factors are x plus 3, x minus 2, and x minus 4. These, ladies and gentlemen, are your factors of this equation. Sorry, of this function. So the only one that shows that is, in fact, going to be choice 1. X plus 3, x minus 2, x minus 4. All right, that's it. And last question, 24. Milton has his money invested in a stock portfolio. Milton probably has invested in Hershey. The value v of x of his portfolio can be modeled by the function v of x equals 30,000 times 0.78 to the x, where x is the number of years since he made his investment. Which statement describes the rate of change of the value of his portfolio? Ooh, maybe it's not Milton Hershey because that stock is going down. Hershey stock is going up so far. All right, sorry, that was a joke. 0.78. So that means that this number right here, remember the formula is a of t is equal to the principal times 1 plus or minus the rate raised to the t power. In order to get 0.78, that's 1 minus r equals 0.78, your rate is equal to 0.22, which is the same thing as saying 22%. So this stock is decreasing by 22% each individual year. So it's not increasing, it's decreasing by 22% per year. If it was decreasing by 78%, God help him. People thought it was 78% because it just shows 0.78, but just remember it's 1 minus the rate. 0.22, 22%, that's it. All right, so the answer to number 24 is going to be choice 2. All right, that is the conclusion of this video. I hope it helped. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure that you visit my website at www.nysmathreadersprep.com for more math content in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 and Geometry and many more high school math subjects for New York State, and I will see you soon.